Hello everyone! After seeing how to model a cube through the editing tools available in Blender and through the use of some modifiers, now we can finally focus on modeling our tower. As seen earlier, Torre Pali has a circular shape plan and not a quadrangular one, so with the X key we are going to delete the cube, and with Shift A we are going to add a cylinder on the scene. This cylinder will be the body of the tower, specifically the walls of the second floor of the tower. After taking measurements from similar towers in the area, such as the Tower of Salignano, we were able to note that the radius is almost 12 meters on the two axes X and Y, which we are going to modify from the dimension in the items section and a height of almost 6.75 meters. However, since this cylinder is not very smooth, it's necessary to remake the same procedure by modifying the amount of vertices on the shape. We delete the cylinder on the scene and create another one. In this case, from the window that opens at the bottom left, we modify the number of vertices from the vertices section until we reach approximately 50, so as to give a slightly more smoothed shape. Having said that, let's modify with 12 meters and 6.75 meters the height, increasing the number of vertices a bit more until we reach 70. And once we've done that, we can move with G, Z along the Z-axis, the body of the tower. And now we can make the ground floor of the tower. This one, however, is slightly flared outward, so it will have an inner radius of 12 meters and an outer radius of almost 14. Therefore, with Shift A, we are going to add an additional cylinder that will have the dimension of 14 meters, this time because we take the dimension of the outermost radius, 14 meters, on the inside, and this time slightly lower, so 6.50 meters. With that being said, in order to make the shape more flared, let's go with the Tab key in Edit mode, select the face above the cylinder, and with the S key, as you can see, we can make the cylinder almost similar to a truncated cone, and then we can change the size of the face according to our preference. In order to make it as close as possible to the dimension of 12 meters, in the inner radius we go into the top-down mode, then into the Z-axis view to reach the dimension of the radius of the cylinder above. Now we are going to make our floor marker that will allow us to join the upstairs with the downstairs and then create the whole body of the tower. Before we do that, just to be safe, let's make sure with the measurement tool if we can actually measure the radius dimension, and as you can see, precisely the inner radius measures 12 and the outer radius should measure almost 14. In fact, it matches. Now, with the X key, we can delete the measure, place ourselves again in the select box mode, and having done that, I'm going to make the stringer that will join the two parts of the tower. So it will have the same dimension as the radius of the two walls, 12 meter radius exactly like the floor above. Then I'm going to create once again with Shift A cylinder that will have the dimension of 12 meters and in this case a thickness of about 0.25. This floor marker will act as a junction to these two parts of the tower. It's as if at this moment we can see exploded view of the tower. So first of all, we activate the vertex snap, which allows us to bring our element closer to another element. In edit mode, we position ourselves in the vertex mode, and with the GZ, we place ourselves exactly in the same line as the vertex of the underlying plane. We do the same thing with the plane above. As you can see, the little orange circle points the moment when the two vertices are in perfect overlap, and so in this way we have the body through in a very rough way of our tower. Having done that, now we are going to create the inner walls of the tower that have the inner diameter, this time of 11.5 meters at the base, and then we duplicate the cylinder that we already have without recreating one from scratch in order to have the same slope. So we duplicate it, click anywhere on the scene to leave it at the same point where the duplication took place, and reselect it. At this point we give as a diameter 11.5 and 11.5, and automatically we have created a body inside the tower that is visible in the semi-transparent toggle X-ray view mode. This created compartment also allow us to assume a space for a stairwell that allowed access to the upper floor, although we have no information about this. In fact, the methods of access to the second floor could have been either through internal staircases, of which we have no record but which we find in the Tower of Salignano, or through ladders resting on trapdoors that open from the floor, as we'll see later, which turns out to be the most plausible hypothesis. Now we can make the interior wall for the floor above as well, entering 9.8 meter as the radius measurement. In the wireframe view mode, we have the possibility to see the skeleton of the two floors and the almost complete body of the tower. Now let's rename the cylinders. Starting with the second floor, we rename this one floor X for the external one, and the outside of the ground floor, floor X. Then we rename the inside of the ground floor floor int and first floor int. Having said that, we can proceed with creating a collection. So, right-click, New Collection, and call it Walls. In here, we insert the walls and the stringer.